experienced a lot of I've experienced God. I think people do really do experience that, but also there's a certain type of personality that wants to let you know it's there. Down the road. Like one way to get like instant secret in the psychedelic world, say you do it ayahuasca. You have too much, you might just be some asshole at a party. Your friends just fucking giggling nonstop on the couch. It could be that. There's no points in life. It's alright. You know, a lot of people. Okay. You can say you took up for low episodes. You'll get points. Dicey. A lot of dicey comments.
He's trying to get back to your grace.
Can't believe for all the Santa.
I hope that's positive.
More lives, but no emojis. No critters.
Try it, Bob. Marketing genius. It's not correct.
700 125,000. Let's do this.
What's up, Bob? Good to see you.
On card. Look at the late M&X comment. And the camera counts when you can see your vaginas.
My jumping.
My mother's basement is very dirty right now, so I don't want to you guys to see it.
That's true. And then, yeah, also, I mean, just notice that kind of looks so big. We got some dick juice. The skyline there looks like something big.
One of those skyscrapers is taking some dick juice there.
It's one of those skyscrapers. One of those skyscrapers is taking some boner medicine. What would you? Viagra alert.
Boner alert. Walking my truck and your name is Andy. Your name is Andy.
So, job, you do that shit all the time. Last year, I think.
Yeah.
You should be surprised at something. Big boys over everything. Let this doctor have her name. What are you talking about? What are we doing here? Okay, she's trying to figure it out.
What's that? Yeah, also, too, when have you ever seen a therapist office have one side?
That, yeah, something like that. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. I didn't even know it. Listening to it. That's what shit.
Be right back. Eating a Mexican cookie. Okay, we'll be here. You
Yeah, that's one thing I did say in the last one. I went, didn't I say I was going to eat him? Oh, I said that in the last one. So probably I asked if it would be too redacted for me to pour sauce like that. Eat it on the line. Yeah. And no, it's in it. He was like, yeah, do that.
That's like a sauce.
You got it right. What kind of sauce? If I eat a cookie with salsa on it, what kind of salsa do I use, please?
Yeah.
What kind of salsa? Black chip. It itches me. Yeah. I'm John Smith. I don't want that.
DJ, shout out to you. Why would Gerardo leave the show without the intro song in the back? You're right, dude. I'm not leaving. Just because of that comment. But I'm not going to be producing. It's going to be somebody else. It's going to be I think you'd be surprised. Yeah. I think you'd be surprised.
When you see, you might say that it's too redacted even for us.
Yeah.
That's kind of
No, that's great.
it's going to be Lisa out. You know, we're going to force her to eat.
Yes. You know, the Stolly. Oh, the therapist. It's Mr. Rodriguez. Alan Robbins. Yeah. Because they're trying to the car.
Oh, because it's there. therapist, then he's going to have even more. The therapist can have her family. By the way, don't let it get lost in that there's no more to the therapist. That is funny, yeah. You just want to see how one of my therapists. And you know what comedy, the best comedy, there's a problem presented and the solution is legitimate. The solution in this particular scenario is Caucasian. That's what I'm saying. Let's just keep that in mind. It's always weird. That joke. Moved to our new houses. Yeah, he really botched us. Introduce yourself. Yeah, well, here's the question. So, when you should you do the same pronunciation or try to pronunciate whatever the funniest thing is, I don't know. Just trying to put myself off in space. I'll probably mimic a lot of it, but you want to mimic, we mimic. A lot of times we put our own little thing in the knife trying to us Cody style. As all of you have your own thoughts, which we'd love to hear. Maybe someday we'll meet you if you get us to Grifter, you dog muscle. Yeah, I'm going to be in San Jose July 19th, and we need to sell more tickets. Or else the DA's going to get the call. Do you know what I'm saying? Not a great we're not on Adderall, we're not crazy. Yeah, I'll be there for these. Yeah, listen, sometimes you think, be cool. Look at John Phillips. Alright, let's go. Because I think you should shit on it. Fuck that. Yeah. Oh, but you're pretty good at it. There you go. I could do like a John. That might be another. Yes. So I'm new in town, and I noticed that my wife is a spicy asshole. So I'm new in town, and they recall the DA. Yeah, there's three things. I have a wife who's a spicy message. I gave my dog away, and my co-host wants to work with louder with crowd. And I'm new in town. Wow, dude, it's living almost in the sun. Yeah. Dude, we're 2 hours in and we finally got to the Mexican. Mango. You know, a little bit of history here for us. Not that we matter that, but we first watched this. We cut it off. Yeah, I didn't know if we watched it. Working on live. Also, too, keep in mind, going back in time, I think probably one of our friends posted the episode in James back in the day. Yeah, we were like, what? Because of this episode. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Why would you say that, John? Oh, John's just like fifth grade. Yeah, I mean, this is risky. Because it's so bad. Okay, so the risk is that bad. I thought you were saying like, it's a dicey joke. Oh, I guess in a way, sure, it's not problematic at all. It's stupid. Yeah, I mean, plus those guys, yeah. He's trash. He's trash. Yeah, but you're supposed to go to your body. Even some of them were like, no. I like to picture BGL on the world. Clap sign, like, no, clap. Cookie alert. Salsa alert. I still don't think that really saying salsa. They said like that's a concept. Yeah, I agree. So they want like a mint, like a little something. I was thinking maybe they're right. Maybe it should be like. Wait to the party, Andrew Griffin. Shout out to you. Yeah. Foodie's rep with the best. You would say cookies to perfection. The kid's like, whoa, just turn it, figure it out. Chocolate chip tortillas. Chocolate chip tortillas. First night in the house, like, yeah.
About your people love you sex, but
Guys who mentioned the Mama versus Love shout out to you, Jake. You, Jeremy. Thanks for another great comment. Egg links. This sounds good. None of this is great. To boil the cookie in their glasses. It was Andy Lemon. Trying to break. I want to walk to the trail. I said no, but I want to. Walk me to the trail. Timely reference, right? Yeah, time. Gosh, they added it. It's a lot like talking about Mr. T. It's like, that's going to last me. That'll be a special time. Jesus, Cootie. I'm trying to walk stepmom. Did I say stepmom? Yeah. That's his live, dude. This is live, okay? Be cool, John. Be cool. I told you once. I've told you a few times. I said I'd be cool. You said to be cool. John is late. Look at John late, John. I give lessons. I'm tired, okay? Yeah, we never record for this long to begin with. I blame my team. COVID restriction. DA got recalled. I scroll that thing. Guinness, I've seen it even right before, but okay. Guinness always with the sunglass emoji. Shout out to you. I was trying to slink dust outside my window. There's a car going. That's why. You think the gargoyle line fucking what? So it's in there. But he's right. It's better redacted, right? John's a great guy. Never read it. I like how all of Steven's comments are cat. He's a homeless cat. He's a cop. Oh, so it's like turn it off, turn it on. That's great too. Yeah, I like crazy. Another thing too. Yeah, we didn't really do much of daily pop. It's I mean, once I watched it, if I told you I'm killing every. Everyone's ever actually said it like that. Neighborhood like coffee. I don't think that's ever happened. No chance. I love Brendan Schaub, dude. He laying the mountain line takes instead of saying I gave up my dog. The mountain line. This remake of the plantation. That's a good Mitch Vincent. Shout out to you. How did you feel? Wanted to hurt me 8 inches. Somewhere else where I've seen about Skittles and Betty's. Jesus Christ. I don't believe any. It sounds like I cannot watch this every week. That's a great idea. Never seen it. He needs to do a Gregor Hoffman parade. That's what we want. Yeah. The thing I want the most is the subscribers. But second to that is that's third person. He's got to do another special. This week got millions. Yeah. No way. I've seen you used it again. Sound off. See, almost two. We're almost there. Watch this thing. Do yourself a favor. Watch it once a week. Even you watch it. Why are you trying to get us like a redacted brain? We will not be okay mentally. You do that. Shocking. That's very true. What about the Showtime ones? Well, see the way that YouTube works. We went into it red. Yeah, you can't do it. You have to join Patreon. We did that early on. We're trying to watch that special for Patreon maybe in the next 3 weeks. There's a chance to get some news on Patreon too. We probably shouldn't even be talking about that. You're going to do that. You'd be surprised. And he didn't post about it on Instagram. I know. Can you imagine seeing Brendan Schaub not fully decked out. What is that video game? Metal Gear Solid Gear. Walking around trying to shoot the line in your neighborhood. That would be the craziest thing. I wish there. Do you know how well that video would go on chain? The most viral video in history. I would love to see that. Unfortunately.
Next week, you'll see you shooting.
Best one should go live. He thought this was so cool.
I'll let you know.
He's always got his
This is funny. I'm not saying that he won't care, but like I should be, but I'm fine with just doing this, but it doesn't matter. It's such a moment. That's physical comedy.
That's right. Yeah. He's a master. Like when you use civilians on the live chat, like John.
So I get home on this and I really
So funny. That's my favorite special of all time, baby. Tom Brady, baby. Yeah, dig down here, dig down here. What do you think the dig is going to do? How's that going to protect it from flying? Oh, because mine will scare me. That's why they're taking it. Yeah! Motor alert! They're all lions. You're on fucking POV, you're the lion. The lion's like, is that a redax? I've been eating these cans of dogs, and I'm going to have to eat a redax? Things are funny.
Join Patreon. Oh, bitches, shout out to you. Yeah, sure. I want to give another shout out to everyone that's in the chat. We have gotten 78 subscribers. Woo! Shout out to you guys. Thank you very much.
Subscribe. Make sure you make your
Dude, Jordan Peterson would be so sick.
That like,
That's gonna like I've like meetings.
what can I do? How can I become a successful podcaster? Well, paid interest.
I want to give another shout out to Mr. Tucker Jones. I always see him comment. I subscribed. I thought I already was. Thanks to you. Shout out.
Sorry, how would you describe the stuff? Dicey.
That close was terrible. We're always just so offended. There's not even a girl right there.
She's so offended, Miss Rose.
Yeah.
But you have to continue to see. So it's a I'll be set up with the other one. On one hand,
The script says maybe automatic fire.
Did he say AR-15?
I don't know. There's probably some deeper meaning to this joke, but it's so bad that they hold it to intentional. Yeah. That's the deep meaning is that I'm not unintentional. I like the cucumbers in chat. I don't know why I kept you doing that. Oh shit, spoilers. I'm playing actually John after. There's no deeper
Or you guys, because UK got teams.
King Henry, that's a dicey comment, sir.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Another one of those timeless references. Out of breath, by the way. Out of breath.
Done a lot of walking. For a big boy, done a lot of physical actions. It's Monday morning, grab my cock. Monday morning, I got 5 meat edibles that you gotta eat right now. And you gotta eat right. Fall back alert. I'm here. Middle child fly. Shout out to you. Or Trudeau. That Rainbow watches this. And she died. This is over. You can't see so hard.
Yeah, I think this is bad. Never saw this.
Make mountain lion longer. It's a lion of the mountains.
Wow, dude, you can have the special on that. Wordsmith, dude. Holy shit, Gorilla Fingers right.
It's a lion of the mountains.
It's a lion of the mountain. I thought it would be small.
I thought it would be, yeah, I thought it would be third shirt.
Yeah. Wow. That's one that weird. It's a lion of the mountain.
That's an epic watch. Lion. He didn't say lion.
It's a lion of the mountain. Wow, there's not even calling it. That's so crazy.
I don't remember it.
Oh no, but that part though. That's some common. There was 999 awards. The 1,000 came in.
You can really see the difference between commercials and
Yeah. You don't see people working at PMG.
this guy's ready to play just like the guy said before. And tonight's musical guest is
Yeah.
Thanks.
You guys ready?
He can do any show in any festival.
Yeah. Joe Rogan is watching.
Yeah, the Lions on Alpha Brain. Yeah, the Lions are eating their shit.
The Lions was getting trashed in the common position.
Yeah. Lions great up. Lions
That's yours. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, how many times did shops say James Cameron? Oh, I guess, yeah, I thought it was James Cameron too. Yeah. Mexican shit, dude. Both of those guys were inside 24 minutes in town. Surprised they focus all the way. Regardless of the minutes. Nick Taylor. There's no else.
You know, it's played for the Browns.
Yeah. Camera operators. So very good. Got a cabin in here. They're double dipping out the guns. Correcting cameras. There it is, Bill Murray. JC, Gary. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I could play some of these.
Well, I could play birds.
And then I'll
She might have talked. For sure.
Oh, shout out to our guy.
You know what's crazy is that Andrew Schultz said she slapped on the couch right
That was JB. Actually,
what did they do? Yeah.
big white production.
That's great. Thanks, buddy.
I do.
What do you guys think? What spot? What nation? C. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good time. What spot? Great live. Never seen it. What's the return policy on the comedy store? Great question. All cars in the unit. If you guys didn't already, subscribe because we're trying to get to 7K by tonight. Let's see. We're at right now. Oh, we are 16 away. Which, that's fine. Thinking of itself. Still tonight, can't talk all these ads. We're going to bed. And never bet you stay strong. What do you think? UNICEF. One of our guys. Go see it live. Yes, I would love to go see it live. But, we also have to create a higher tier on Patreon. Well, the time being, Patreon's only $5. So if you want to be a hero, Patreon membership sold. Thank you, Vince. Yeah, I mean, we have an episode 3 of our Patreon called Awesome, and the description is sleep on my couch in Big and Austin. Yeah, I'm going to be traveling to Texas soon, maybe by the end of summer. The summer tour is busting, as Brennan would say. I'm talking numbers. Highlight in on one of our guys. Shout out to that guy. Homeless Lion in the Mountains. New studio with the chatterbox. Tells you, are you staying strong or not? Yeah, you're doing great, sir. Already subscribed.
So now it's less money here.
Thank you, guys.
Just to fucking this case,
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be in California July 19th. I have a show with Jesus Momina at the San Jose Improv. We're doing our best to sell tickets.
So now it's less money.
If you want to see comedy live, July 19th at the San Jose Improv. I'm going to be at 23rd at the Friend House. Do you have any shows going on? Go ahead and tell them.
What up? Just got back from the state. 7 times a week. You have shows of interest. Not many. Okay, so closest one I have to now is July 5th at the Brewport Tap House, 8 p.m. That's in El Segundo. And after that, I have a show in Culver City. Is this boring watching me look up shows? Probably. Yeah, there's so many shows. It's hard to lost my water. Yeah, all my shows right now.
Great show, but thank you.
How do you get out of management? Did you see that? I don't even know how to get out of management.
There was one time I was trying to get your phone and someone tapped me.
That was the 100 tab. You get to that's real new. Another show that I have coming up is 26 setup at the Citizens Market. So those 2 shows are the soonest shows. Well, yeah, I mean, if you guys liked it, we'll do another live.
Yes.
I don't think we'll watch this again. That was a crazy suggestion. But do something like that.
Yeah. Oh, what's it called? I do have a show this Saturday at Studio M. It might be already sold out because it's with Alpha Robles. Why don't you throw it at the San Jose? I don't know. I I think beef rubs are not.
I don't know. You gotta call him. Yeah.
But I will, this July 17th, I'm doing a show with Buffalo was at Studio M in downtown Los Angeles. June 23rd, Friend House in Phoenix. And July 19th, in San Jose at the Improv.
If you're 19, just go with your dad or something, or like a older cousin. Because you can get in, as we all know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cody just texted me.
I did think about doing that. I was going to go on the YouTube and be like, I'm messaging in to sync, but then I do it. I guess you know that.
I'm in San Jose, July 19th.
San Francisco, I'd love to. Yeah, like, again, we need more subscribers. Yes, the 16. Tell your freaking daily.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to plug that in.
Behind the scenes.
Shout out to Alice. Love you guys. We see you in the chats all the time.
Yeah.
Turn on super chats next time. But if you want to, just join our Patreon. That means a lot to us if you join there.
Griffin had a good idea to do a hot chip. Because the cookie thing will probably be a hot chip. I like hot chip.
That's content.
Hot chip. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying that's good. It's good content, but it's like. You tried the habanero sauce.
Yeah, like you heard I was going to die. Well, you know,
That's our food truck diaries. Don't leave Toronto, stay. I'm going to stay.
Toronto staying.
Oh, Harley. Nino Bo, I've seen you in the comments all the time. Any more shows in your South Pasadena? June 23rd and July 17th. I'll be in downtown. But just follow us on Instagram. Harley at Bar Shows.
I forced myself on the bar.
Yeah.
Make a square deal. Square deal's a good show. I think I'm going to get that on the show. So if you're watching it, with me again.
Ready for Toronto. Alright, well, we love you guys. We're out of here.
So thanks so much for tuning in.
Yes.
7,000. Have a good night, guys. Later, y'all.
So we're going to be very simple. So let's say this is an expression. Applause is really, but it's sometimes you have to go back to
Granger knows that if you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, you go to great lengths.
your argument doesn't really hold water. So you know what it says? That was true. I think it's true. But I love how the nice again. The opponent does not need to do the immersions at the end of foot washing. It can be the changes of clothing level. So that was true that it's not for hockey. It's not for nothing. I don't understand. But even if you admitted the first one in the morning, ultimately again, the abolition for the touchdown on the website. But the worst thing is like this is all of the hand washes and all of the teeth should be treated the same. So run up shop. If you tell me that if the coin omits the immersions and the omits the hand and foot washing between the clothing changes and our logos, and that is not hockey, then even if it misses the first one in the morning, it shouldn't be the hockey as well. As it is the first one, the abolition is the beauty and the caution. So this process is discovered by some and then the role is one of the spirits. Double on the hockey is alone, not equal. Which is really anything that is not an indispensable necessity for the current offspring, i.e. for ultimately the active protocol level. Now, the Shabir Maki is alone in the active form. It's something that ultimately is not the active for its offspring, because it is behind, it's not the active for the protocol. With other sites, and then put washing the one that feeds us at that right, but it's the one that completes the question. That is something that applies to alcohol. Since it applies to alcohol, therefore what? It is not it is an indispensable necessity, which is only fundamentally invalidates the alcohol. The version the handling of washing in between all of the different clothing changes that alcohol that's unique to the conduct. It has to be done, but it's not done over again. knocking down the other. It's incredible. I mean, look at this real. Look at the middle. Something the older woman is not acting for his sons. Is not acting for his brother. There's something that is not acting for other Kohanim, ultimately not acting for his own brother. Incredible. So what's this now? Teachers now they're both doing the same thing from different sources. So why is Rabbi son? Why is it this deal source? And how we will go into this? That's with the future generations. Because my kind of what I'm and why is it the first thing I have is like this? I said, the Bible is going to get so Hanina. Right, Hanina is to discuss here that develop from Moshe Aaron and Barak. What is it? It's very interesting. From here, shipping both of the package, I brought one another in the packaging. There was a quarter for the QR, the basin, wash basin. The kosher, the wash basin after the minimum dimensions, that four provided and the ability to wash from it at the same time. This is a from Shanema, the Rapitinatu, Moshe, Aaron, Barak. Right, so ultimately, again, the Prophet says, for the QR, who's supposed to wash with Moshe, Aaron, and Aaron's sons borrowed too. So a QR, minimum dimensions of the QR, ultimately, again, require the ability to go ahead and wash one people at the same time. So let's say, so in Kirma, let's say, people that think. So first of all, we learned that, again, the pieces down that line, washing of the hands and feet first thing in the morning, indispensable necessity. And if you omit it, Rabbi said the abundant is plus. The hope is possible. That's number one. Number two, however, if the coin omits any of the emergence or any fluctuations between locations of the order, is that both that there is covered. That's why Jason says Kiddush. So what's this such a beautiful love? What is the how do you perform the mitzvah of Kiddush and of sanctifying the hands of feet? How do you do that? Watch the hands of feet. So when you have the other animals, I've got the other animals. The other animals are the smallest in the package. Right? So what do? You put your left hand on your left foot. Your right hand on your right foot is like twisted. You know, like that. Right? So you go ahead and let's say, now watch this for the package. And let's see, over here, then you turn on the water, and you wash them simultaneously. In other words, you wash your hand, you call it hands and feet simultaneously. One scoop of water, washing them simultaneously. So the Gemara says, but Yosef, you don't know this is why. That's how you do it. How do you do it? Maria Shkepradam Suakatsu. The Agadi Shkepradam Suakatsu in the passage. Listen, this is why. Yosef says, you put one hand on top of the other, and one foot on top of the other, and that's how you wash literally everything simultaneously. They said, that sounds great. There's only one problem. I don't know. It's like that. He actually asks me. That's too much. Stop asking. You're going to fall over. You're going to fall over if you try that. There's no way you know if I put a regular person to balance himself like that. I was a shopping cover, right? Oh, you're going to say it. You say it. So, you'll say the Cadera. Sorry, you'll say the Cadera the side. You know what it means when I say this? When the coin is watching, his friend always helps. His friend always helps us. So what's happening over here is that again, coin number one is watching, one foot on top of the other, literally one foot on top of the other, one hand on top of the other, and his friend is holding him up. Let's say his friend is holding him up. That's the only way to do this. And as a Maganite, what's not the difference between them? I'm not going to I'm them in that side, eat them in that. So it's a happy, but the level after here is, he has a coin permitted to go ahead and wash the system. Does he have to wash standing on his friend? Early so they have to be separate. So the first thing that said he put his right hand on his right foot, left hand on his left foot to wash with that foot here. Told us to wash us supported. Second reason says no, he can even be supported. The Gemara says put lace in me, so I don't touch. Much easier fix to all of this. What is it called? Sit down and then begin to called a public shit. It's called a public service. Called a public service. Because it's called a public service, just like Avoda has to be done standing up, so to Allah again, the washing of the hands and feet have to be done standing up as well. So let's see how do we pass in? Ultimately, we're going to be passing right. The first we're going to kind of count off. The way huge balls that right was done was whether Alimanas are Lasma Alimanas, whether Asmanas are Lasma Asmanas, right hand on the watch simultaneously, standing with the code requiring assistance. So I think that's a whole discussion in the post itself. But let's say that I don't realize that's a key challenge that we study. I want you just to point out. You want to just understand what you say to yourself. That's why I'm not a code. What does this matter to me? So it doesn't matter to us. Why does anything matters to us? Because it's Torah. So that also, you know, the halakha is we doing tefillah every single morning. Wash our hands every morning. There are different reasons given for the tiras yadayim. Like one reason is reachrah, is a spirit of impurity because a person goes to sleep. Sleep is 1/60th of that. But one of the other concepts that I'm just in the morning is because when we wake up and we enter into the world, each of us are like Kohanim entering into the Avodah. So what the Kohanim do by the just as the Kohen enters in, ready to embrace the service of the new day, so to again, when we wake up in the morning, we too are ready to embrace the service of the new day, ready to accomplish, ready to do, ready to self-actualize, and ready to ask Hashem to heed the call of the Yom Shalom. Say, Shkoya, and get that chance. All right, that's the travels everyone.
Welcome back to Tim Mess's Show. Thanks for tuning in as always. Join the Patreon. You heard of it, right? Join it because tonight we're doing our first ever live stream of the Patreon. It's going to be of the political debates. A little bit of Trump, a little bit of Harris. Ever heard of them? Little Kamala. Or another color, Malamac. The backwards. Yes, it's Kamala. Yeah. Wait, what do you okay, you're saying that sounds like what Blue Dots, ever heard of them? Yeah. And if politics isn't your thing, then we have special reviews. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm out here making sure these streets are funny. Yeah, we got those 7 times a week. Anything good ones in the stock about. Also, the Reddit is booming. You know what I mean? Join us on live streams Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you know, because we live in Seattle. And then, you know, Reddit, Discord, all that fun stuff. Join the chat club. Come on, be part of it. Anyways, but that's not what they're going to love. They're going to wish them as a shot. So start the timer. Play the chat clip. Okay, we got plenty of chips to play. Hey, dude. So this first one is not a clip, but it's more of a sad post. We've got another one of the Roganites crying on airwaves, dude. Posted by Papa12345. It's called "I'm so tired of this dude, maybe more than Brendan." Look at that, dude. That's just nobody wants to see that, right? Yeah, that's a real bad face. It looks like something you'd see in a medical office. It's like the symptoms of some kind of disease. It's like you see it up on the wall. You say, or like when you're like searching, when you look at, or maybe you don't see it enough, just when you're looking at symptoms of like, what is this bump? You know, red bump on face, but it's his entire face. Yeah, hippopotamus. It looks like he just walked out and they told him he's positive for monkeypox. If I saw somebody like this and I was like, "You've been drinking," they said, "No," I look at them as skeptical. He dropped his daughter off and he'd been drinking. Yeah, I don't know. A little salt and pepper beer to go with the crying, dude. As always, don't post this. Yeah, don't cry. Anyways, obligatory just dropped my daughter off at college crying pic. I posted one 2 years ago for Georgia. Now it's Isla's turn. I'm so excited for her and some soap. But goddamn, I'm gonna miss that kid. I just read the first comment. Baby cool, Canelo Ginger. Canelo Ginger. Both house now, and thank God I married the woman I did. I'm gonna be a mess for a minute. I'm headed to Vegas.
If I knew anything about Reddit, I would not post stuff about my kids. Right?
Yeah.
Don't do that either. Yes, you know.
Yeah. Great idea, dude. Good thing you don't have children. This one's posted by True MMHS, I believe. Never forget that this guy is genuinely a piece of shit who views poor people as lesser humans to himself. He is an untalented, unremarkable garbage. Okay, that deserves all his failures and humiliation. What do you think about that? Just that title.
Well, I remember this book well. This is the book where he talks about homeless people. I think it sums it up pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a little harsh, but you know, Bob may feel this way.
Yeah. Is that your takeaway? I got actual, this is a new joke. I actually have inside information from TFK. Okay, you're absolutely right. Shout out to it is what it is. My alarm, that's such a good joke. Well, let's see here. Oh gosh, man, it's so hot in here. It is. Why isn't it playing? Let me get a fan.
The people that are negative or on forums and create troll accounts.
Yes.
I view those people the same I view a homeless guy.
What about people with big red chairs? They view them as brothers.
Right, I'm sure I'm homeless. I can afford 2 red chairs. How many homeless people you see about this many stickers? Yeah. How many homeless people can get art? What's that word when you do commission? How many homeless people can get art commission? This is not me hating on homeless people. This is not me hating on homeless people. You know,
How many homeless people have bobbleheads, dude? I agree with everything you said.
yeah. Like, I mean, you can't see these cameras. Yeah, they're pretty good cameras, okay?
Yeah, dude.
So, watch your story, bro. Watch yourself. Shop, scoop.
Oh, fuck, it's not playing again. One second.
Critiquing my art or critiquing yes.
It's like a seething comb or whatever. There's a seething comb. The face in front of it. That's what it is.
This is the evolution of the C-clip. At first he started praying for Jesus and stuff, and then it slowly turns into this.
Not unlike Mr. Doom. Like, I'm sure Mr. Doom was at one point a good guy. Yeah. He fucking got the green thing. He put on the mask.
Yeah, until I met Superman.
His heart went like this.
Who would go out of the way to create that account or to live in a mom's basement or whatever job they're working, cannot even fathom the amount of work it takes to pull off something, whether it's a set or a good podcast or a business or merchandise. And I hope my son, I hope other people, because the type of person that would to go on YouTube is, I don't associate with those people. I don't know those people. It does not matter. You never met them. So what
We've talked about this before in the Zebra Head. What is that about?
Oh, yeah, I had no idea. It must be someone else's podcast, right? They got zebra decorations.
So, dude, somebody's drinking a oil can behind it. It looks like RoboCop's drinking an oil can. Here's a taco.
Oh, man, I missed that. I don't think we've ever fucking seen comment on that before. That's very strange.
Drive guys
Look at that. The superhero is drinking. Oh, is RoboCop drinking? Because I guess he's a robot. I think he runs on gas. You know, he runs on gas just like all things good. Yeah, drive fast on gas. RoboCop, obviously. He's not driving electric cars. The zebra has an Oscar, which is something I hadn't noticed until now.
Yeah.
Did you notice that before?
That zebra's looking homeless as fuck, though. He's not happy at all with Bob beside him.
It's pretty corny. Yeah, the zebra's rolling a skip on a boy. It's corny to have one of those fake small Oscars in it. Then I should get one in that. Yeah, probably happens. What I noticed about what Bob was saying is that he is talking about being proud of merch. And I'm not sure if I would ever be proud of merch. I'd be happy if people thought that they liked it. Maybe it was really funny. But, doing the thing right, saying one thing and saying the other thing, but how can you be proud of something like this? This is poor quality.
Yeah, it was very sweaty after I took it off.
It's no wash chin. Yeah. But I mean, it's just not very good quality. They sell it for like half off. You know, if you buy things. We bought the golden jackets. Yeah. Somebody commented, you idiots aren't even wearing the golden jackets.
Oh, dude, it's so hot. It's California or Seattle.
It's 100 degrees where we are. I have the AC blasting.
It's 10 p.m. at night, 100 degrees.
Yeah, dude, give us a fucking
break. I told you too. As soon as we bought the jacket, I was like, "It's the worst time to buy the jackets. It's the middle of summer."
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, they're the best jackets we've ever had.
And then you were like, "Should we do it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I got some more information in it.
Should we be the same as a creator profile? That's what he's up for. That should maybe last so hard earlier, dude.
You know, homeless guy, that's pretty homeless guy.
Was just great, like the profile talking shit. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're all the same.
So
fun. I don't know. Anyways, I like how these old chins get reheated and like are like the most liked things on that week. You know?
Yeah, I mean the classics. Everybody likes the classics.
But let's go to something that's happening currently. This is posted by Active Paprika 51. The shop shutdown is coming soon. This is not me for the comments. Brendan Shop is just as informed about what jiu-jitsu needs as he is about driving trucks. Let me guess, you have a purple belt and got it all figured out. Bring your fat ass down to LA so I can inform you. Let me know how it goes for you, big guy.
I don't understand the logic there. If he comes down and he sees you, why would he have to let you know how that goes?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know? You beat him up, right? You beat up this guy who did an internet comment that's not really that mean.
Yeah. And then he responds with, no need really. I already saw your match with Cyborg and your post-match analysis trying to defend your wasting of everybody's time, big guy. That sounds like he has an added pickle.
Yeah, that's a man, guys. That's a man who had to rush out of the house, didn't have time to stop and get a large Dr. Pepper.
This is sponsored by the Dirk Fiddler. It's called Frank Anderson. The Dirk Fiddler. What does that mean?
I don't know what the Dirk Fiddler means. It just says the way you said it. You're like, oh, seriously. The next one was like the Dirk Fiddler. Like, there's no comedy in there.
It's supposed by the Dirk Fiddler. It's called Brandon's response when I said he is on Ozempic made me laugh. He also made it so I couldn't tag him immediately after saying that. LOL, what a soy boy. He also says, couldn't get your shit together. I mean, I'm not the one using peptides to get my shit together. LMAO. Let's see here. So, looking lean, brother. What's the new diet program? Lots of running, keeping up with the kiddos, good protein, and peptides from HRTS.
And this fucking weird plug for some random company.
Transcend HRT. You mean Ozempic? And Brendan laughs. I think this is the next slide. He laughs and says, Ozempic makes you jacked. News to me, but a ton of soy boys see you do shape and chalk it up as Ozempic because you can't get your shit together. LOL, I get it. I get it.
That's so funny. He wrote all that and he's like, got it. Yeah, post.
And then this guy responded, I wouldn't call you jacked by any means. Skinny and Ozempic for sure, though. Isn't it funny how there's random people getting mad skinny right now? And they're upset when people suggest it's Ozempic.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think if I got like super jacked, you know, like in really good shape, and someone's like, oh, Ozempic, I'd be hurt too.
Really? Because people say that I'm on Ozempic when I lost weight. It's like, it's just not true. I don't need to, like, what need do I have to make them know the truth about how I got lost weight? I just drink radiant.
Yeah, you didn't drink Ozempic.
I got some inside information, man. You're completely right with that.
No, I guess, I don't know. I see it both ways.
It makes you look like you're using Ozempic.
Well, here's the thing. You obviously are not taking Ozempic. So that's why it's not a big deal, right? Like, there's just, like, I don't know, when people say you're on Ozempic, they're kidding, right? I think
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But, like, I think people really are saying the job is on Ozempic, right? I mean, like, yeah.
There's also a difference. If I was taking Ozempic and people were accusing me of it, and I wasn't really addressing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not on airwaves saying Ozempic is fucking for stupid people like he is at the golden hour. Oh, yeah, did he say that?
Hey, bro, you posted my tweet, guys. I think that you might be looking for one of this.
on Ozempic to begin with, but I do think it's ridiculous to go on it and then be like, what? And especially after you've been insulting it, like you just said you did. Like you saw Nick Avocado also that week. Yeah, I did see. I don't know who that is, but I saw the post about it. Yeah, he's on Ozempic. It's just a thought. It's not like a indignation or what is it called? Like a fucking.
Who the fuck is Rabbi Rothschild? Why did they repost this, bro? Because he's a West Side Kid. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, probably. But here's the thing. If I were on Ozempic as a kid and it made me skinny, what I would do is be like, you gotta take Ozempic, man. Yeah, I love this shit. It changed my life. I can leave now. Exactly. Like if someone's like, yeah, if you're on Ozempic, I'd be like, exactly. I said it in the post. Read the details, Chen. What's the percentage chance that he is on Ozempic? I'd say 60-40. Yeah, at least that. I don't know, man, because like I know that he lies and I'm supposed to just not believe anything he says, but it's so crazy to lie about that. To me, I just don't understand why you would, especially when he doesn't work. There's so many things he lies about. There's so many things that he hasn't met Adam Sandler apparently, and he said that so many times. That's true. I don't know. Maybe I just have too much faith. I'm too much of a fucking homer. I'm sucker for everything. Well, I'm falling for shop again, dude. Bring me back in. This was posted by David Duke Newcomb. It's called Big Brown Destroys a Giveaway Casual in the comments section that he never read. I like that he's responding.
Folks, I really want you all to be aware. Look at this athleticism. Folks, it's really unprecedented. What's this motherfucker jibber-jawing about? Probably ching-chonging. This motherfucker's ching-chonging. Look at this athleticism. Are you talking? Dog. This motherfucker's chin-chonging. La 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 la. Nobody gives a shit, dog. You know about what people give a shit? Space elevators, motherfucker.
Not only that, it is not enough for the coin to wear a big dick. One of the coin has to what? He has to wear the proper big dick. Halacha nice again, a coin gadol wears the gadol of a coin head yoke. Coin head yoke wears the gadol of a coin gadol. Ultimately, again, the avodah pasta as well. Thirdly, from Ulahavda ben Hakodesh ben Achol, you're also Rav's halacha that just as a coin may not go ahead and do the avodah after he drinks wine, so shechas halos, and we're going to see a distinction between that. For avodah, I will say, as soon as a coin drinks a revius of wine, we'll discuss this, he's not permitted to do the avodah for a little while. But obviously, passing of halacha, so the revius of wine is not the problem, right? Remember, again, Rav only wouldn't do shear on Yom Tov, when again there was a much greater wine consumption occurring during that time. So it's different shiurim, but the concept is the same. So in the avodah, the kohen gadol the kohen can't do the avodah when he drinks wine, and the chacham can't ask in halacha when he is consuming too much wine as well. Good. Tanrabanan. Well, so now we're going to get into some of the details of the Vedic, which is really interesting. So Tanrabanan. Hayum Merushalim. We'll say what happens if the kohen gadol's clothing. So okay, now we've established that the kohen must do the avodah with the. Now we're going to speak a little bit about the specifications of the gadol. It's really an amazing Gemara. Hayum Merushalim. We'll say what happens if the clothing, Merushalim actually says it's in the Gemara in Bakarka, clothing was too long, or Misulakim, clothing was too short, Mishuchakim. We'll say Mishuchakim means for the Rashi, Mishuchakim Yishanim. They were older. Older, in other words, we'll say Lav Dafka tattered, just older, maybe a bit more worn out. So what's the halacha in all of these cases? Va'avad avodasa, and you did the avodah, sheira. So I'll say even if the clothing was too long, too short, or a bit worn out, the avodah is still kosher. Lava shnei mefasai, but if the kohen wore 2 pairs of pants, shnei avneidim, 2 belts, chaser achos, yiser achos, or he was missing one of the Vedic Guna, or adding on something additional, osha haisalo retia amakas basar tachas bedado, or he was wearing a bandage on his flesh, so that the clothing wasn't resting directly on his flesh. Osha hayu mitushkashin. We'll say, or, for example, again, the clothing was, Rashi says, Mishkushtash means bitit. It was dirty. His clothing was dirty. Only Kurain, or the clothing was ripped. But Abad Abadasa, we'll say, in any of these cases, didn't the Abod. What's the halacha? The halacha is the Abod is psula. So again, if the clothing is too long, too short, or too worn out, it's kosher. But if you wore too many articles of clothing, was missing an article of clothing, right? Or had something, or the clothing wasn't resting on his flesh, or the clothing was dirty, or the clothing was torn, and he did the avoda. Ultimately, again, the avoda is possible. I'm going to do this. So we'll say that's the first thing. I'm going to see a number of opinions here. Amr Yehuda, Amr Shmuel. So we'll say Shmuel comes along and says, "Merushalim ksherim, misulakim psulim." What's that mean? Shmuel says, if the clothing is too long, then it will still be kosher. And if the clothing is too short, it will be possible. We just said before, so the first part of this brisa said that what, if the clothing is too long, if the clothing is too short, it will be kosher. So let's remember again, the brisa that we just said before said if the clothing is too long or too short, ultimately again the avodah will still be kosher. Shmuel saying if it's too long, it's kosher. If it's too short, it's possible. We said before in the brisa that if the clothing is too short, it's kosher. Amarami Barchama lo kasha. It was actually a very interesting distinction. Barchama says it's not a contradiction. How so? Kan shesilkan ayude avnit kan the last movement karak klau. So let's listen to this. When the brisa said that if the clothing is too short, it is kosher, we'll say when is that? That's when, let's say again, the tunic or the pants are the right length. What happens? The Kohen bunches it up by his belt, so that it turns out that it looks too short, but in fact again it has the requisite length. So when it has the requisite length, in other words, we'll say when it was the proper sizing, but the Kohen was just wearing it in an awkward way, that bunched it up by the belt, so therefore it appeared to be too short, that's when it's going to be kosher. But if Lamaisa, again, it's just too short, or the measurements, the length of it is just incorrect, then Lamaisa, again, it will be possible. Take a look at Rashi. Rashi says in the rich, he says, so he says, like the way that women do. I guess he's afraid maybe a woman wants to make her skirt a little bit shorter, so she can pull it up at the waist. So too again, the Kohen, if he goes ahead and he wants to make the pants shorter, he bunches it up by the belt. So what's this? So it's actually really interesting. So making and we're going to see this thing going to come back in just a little bit. So the idea over here, according to Rabbi Chama, is that what we look for is, do the pants have the requisite length? When we say pants, it's the pants and the tunic. Does it have the requisite length or not? If it has the requisite length, then even if he's wearing it short, so to speak, it's fine. If it doesn't have the requisite length, then ultimately, again, it will be invalid. So the Gemara says as follows. Rav, this is Shmuel, and Rav says, both of them will say whether, again, it's too short because he bunched it up at the belt, or whether it's too short because what? Because Lamaisa, again, inherent the wrong length, it will be possible. So we'll say what Rav seems to be saying is as follows. This is quite interesting. Rav says that at the end of the day, we look at how not only the actual dimensions or measurements of the clothing, but we're also looking at what? How it presents. Right? If it doesn't present in the right way, then ultimately the avodah will be possible, even if the measurements are correct. Fundamental focus, Rabbi Shmuel. Also, let's go. Rav Huna Ikla, this is really very interesting. Rav Huna Ikla la Argiza. So Rav Huna went to Argiza as a place. Rav Huna went to a place of Argiza. Ramalei Baruch Bezichno. So we'll say, so the son of his hosts, he's staying at someone's house, and the son of his host asked him the following question. Mi Amar Shmuel Merushalim Ksherim Misulakim Psulim. Did Shmuel really say that if the Kohanic clothing is too long, it's kosher, but if it's too short, it's possible? But Tanya, we have a brisa that says Misulakim Ksherim. Right? The brisa says whether the clothing is too long or too short, it's kosher. So Amalei Bar Minei. So Shakuna said to this young man, don't worry about this brisa. Why? The Shiny Rami Barchama. Because Rabbi Barchama already answered it up. Like the brisa that said that even if it's too long, it's kosher. Right? Even if it's too long, even if it's too short, it's kosher. That's the one where the coin bunched it up by the belt, but the length would be correct. Whereas Shmuel, when he said that if it's too short, it's puzzle, that was referring to what? Where the pants or the tunic itself lacks the requisite requirements. El Rav Kasha. We'll say, what is Rav? Because remember again, the Brisa says that if the Kohanic clothing is too long or too short, it's still kosher. Rav said if it's too long or it's too short, it's what? It's possible. So what does Rav do with the Brisa? So maybe you'll say as follows. What does it mean when you talk about the clothing being too long or too short? Listen, maybe that's a function of how you wrap the clothing around your belt. The avnit megas guidance. So we'll say, so listen to this. Maybe the case of where the clothing is too long and that it's still kosher is as follows, where it's too long, but you bunch it up by the belt. So if you bunch it up by the belt, then what? It makes it short enough. The avnit megas guidance. And they both say, we view the bunching up of the belt as what? As a cutting down of the clothing. Or maybe what we do is, we view it when you bunch up around the belt, that's as if you cut the clothing down to size, therefore the clothing fits. Well, if that's the case, Elam Misulak in Kasha. We'll say, here's the problem with that. The problem with that then is if the clothing is too short, because you wrapped it around the belt, then what? That's also as if you've cut the clothing down, and if you cut the clothing down, then it should be possible. To which the Gemara says, Amar Zera, Rav Chadaton. Rav in reality quoted one halacha. So what did Rav say? Merushalim shesilkon al yedei avneit sheru. But Rav really meant to say also as follows: that if you have clothing that is too long, shesilkon al yedei avneit, that you shortened through the belt, which also means again you're wrapping it underneath the belt. Remember again, also just so you understand, the avneit was more Corey wears nichnas, Simon wears pants, and we'll get into this. He wears pants, and then on top of that, he wears exonis, he wears like a tunic, and then on top of that is the avnit, is the belt. So the idea that Rabbi is saying is as follows: if your Kohen had pants that were too long, and what happens? You wrap them up around the belt, or really underneath the belt, and as a result, you shorten them, so now they're the right length, sheri. Ultimately, again, those begadim will be kosher. Why Rabbi was saying? Because again, as we're going to see, Rav if anything wrapped underneath the belt, it's as if it's been cut down to size, and therefore again, halacha l'maisa, the begadim have the requisite measurements. Amra Birmi Midifti, the Rushalim Shalom Silkon. Tonight, Birmi Midifti says, in reality, if you have clothing, long clothing, that has Shalom Silkon, which means have not been wrapped underneath the belt, ultimately, again, as a machlokes, as well, so here's what we have. So it turns out that what's occurring over here is that Rav is not really arguing as much as he's making a definitive statement. Rav is saying that if you have Kohanic clothing that are too long and you wrapped it underneath the belt, the Kohanim, the Gadim will be kosher. Why? Because the act of wrapping it underneath the belt is no different than what? Tailoring it. Right? And everybody agrees that if you tailored it, ultimately the Gadim will be good. So Rav says also if you tucked it underneath the belt, that's like tailoring, and therefore it will be kosher. So it comes over here and it says as follows: if you have clothing that is too long, that you did not make shorter, it's in machlokes tonight. Watch this. So this actually opens up another door for us. It's actually very exciting. The Sanya al arba kanfos ksuska. So once it says we're also by tzitzis. Gidilim kaselach al arba kanfos ksuscha asher techasebo. What's like tzitzis on the four corners of your garment? Al arba kanfos ksuscha. So what do we darshan from here? Arba below shalosh. This teaches us that what? The halacha l'maisa, a beggar is only 5 and teaches us that what? If it has 4 corners. 4 and not 3. Oh, eno ela arba below chamesh. Maybe he's teaching 4 and not 5. Kishu omer asher techaseba. Well, also when the pasuk says that we're talking about a garment that you're going to cover yourself in, harei ba'alos chamesh amor. Also that tells you that even a 5-cornered garment will be chayiv in tzitzis. Ha ma'ani mekayin arba. So why does the Torah say dafka 4? Arba v'lo shalosh. The teaching that what? It is only a 4-cornered garment and not a 3-cornered garment will be chayiv in tzitzis. Uma rois the rabos balas chamesh v'lohotzi balas shalosh. So why is it that the Torah tells me a 4-cornered garment? How do I know that 4-cornered comes to exclude 3 and not 5? How do I know that? To which the Gemara says, Marbani balas chamesh, sheyish b'chal chamesh arba. because also it will include a five-cornered garment. Why? Because 5 automatically includes what? 4. And I will exclude a three-cornered garment because ultimately, again, a three-cornered garment does not include 4. Okay. The time we'll have another place that says as follows. So we'll say, so from this place I see that when it says 4, 4 excludes 3, but doesn't exclude 5. Why doesn't it exclude 5? Because 5 includes 4. So you see by definition that a garment that has more than 4 corners will be chayav in tzitzis, because once it is 4 and above, by definition, the beged is all inclusive. Watch this. Another place. So, al arba kampos susta. On the four-cornered garment, arba v'lo shalosh, arba v'lo chomesh. We'll say in this place it says what? It is not only is a three-cornered garment excluded from tzitzis, but what? A five-cornered garment as well. Right? So we'll say, so you see the differences in the Bryce. Bryce number 1, a five-cornered garment is not excluded. In Bryce number 2, a five-cornered garment is excluded. My love bahal kamef. We'll say, what are they arguing about? Dimar sabar yeser kiman say dummy umar sabar kiman delese dummy. So we'll say, so what are they arguing about? That one opinion holds that you view that fifth corner as if it exists. And one opinion holds that we view the fifth corner as if it doesn't exist. We'll say, I look at Rashi in just a moment. It's Rashi almost right across. Mar sabar man depaka balos kamish. The one who says ultimately again that a five-cornered garment is parted from tzitzis sabar lo aminan yeser kiman delese, says that we don't view something extra as if it doesn't exist. Ela kamandi isehu v'lo karina lebas arba uman demechayos yirle yeser kiman delese dami. So we'll say, watch this. The fundamental focus of we'll say is as follows. What happened? According to one opinion, once a garment is 4 corners, we don't care how many corners you put on there afterwards. It doesn't make a difference to us. Once you reach the threshold of being a 4-cornered garment, you have the tzitzis. Any other corners above the 4 you view as if they're even non-existent. The other opinion says, no, the obligation is dafka on what? A 4-cornered garment. Once you have more than 4 corners, then what? You're no longer a 4-cornered garment, and therefore they're not chayav in tzitzis. So what does that do with us? So we'll say, what happens if we have So we'll say, one essentially we'll say it's the same machlokes. One opinion will say, once it reaches the requisite length, then what? We don't really do anything beyond the requisite length, and therefore the big even if there's too length will be kosher. Whereas the other opinion will say, no, we view everything that's part of the Kohanic clothing, and if it's too long, it will be kosher. George the Gemara says, no, not a good comparison. Equally, Alma command you sit dummy, and we'll say, you can't ignore reality as much as people try. And therefore, again, even in the fifth corner, you can't ignore the fifth corner, just like you can't ignore the additional length of the Kohanic clothing. The shiny hafa, the Rabbi Rachmana Shetakaseba, will say tzitzis is different. Because by tzitzis, even though it's just 4 corners, it also calls the garment what? Shetakaseba. Calls it a garment that's not clothed yourself. So because of that, again, that can come to include even a 5-cornered garment, according to some, as a garment that is obligated to exist. Higher shake the concept on my obvious. We'll say, but if you don't hold that a 5-cornered garment is higher than so what do you do with this concept of shake the concept? Well, which the Gemara says, first white line, we try to look at the sun. What's the difference about this? What's exactly fascinating? We read this also. The pasuk by Tzitzis says, you shall see the Tzitzis. Prat, but sliding. Also, this comes to exclude a garment worn at night. But a garment worn at night is not highlighted. So, for example, you got your brand new 4-cornered pair of pajamas. You got your 4-cornered pajamas. You don't have to put tzitzis on them. Why not? Because the pasuk by Tzitzis says that will release them also. We see them just like what? That the obligation of tzitzis is only on garments worn by day, but not by garments worn at night. Oh, Ella, second line, Suma was meaning that maybe it comes to exclude what? A blind person's garments. Was it maybe a blind person is he's not obligated to put tzitzis on his garments. Why? Because the Maisa can't see them. And when the pasuk says that you have to put tzitzis on a garment that you clothe yourself in, harei ksus suma. So what's like even a suma clothes is clothes, but the fact that you can't see it, okay. But the Maisa says he's still clothing himself in it. So you must come out in the kind of reason also. So Asher Techaseba teaches me that what? What's very important? Asher Techaseba teaches me that even a suma is obligated to put tzitzis on his clothing. If that's the case, then what do I do with Uri Isam also? Fat with Suslaila. What's I saw to put tzitzis on his clothing? Uri Isa also teaches me that Suslaila, clothing worn by night, is not chayiv in tzitzis. Umaroi, why is it? How do I know to include the clothing of a blind person and to exclude clothing worn by night? Because I'll tell you why. See, I will say, remember again, the clothing of a suma may not be seen by the suma, but is seen by whom? By everyone else. Clothing worn at night. Most like no one sees it. Again, like that night, no one sees the clothing. The idach not killing Hashem, idach Hashem on night. The other thing we'll learn this out, most like from the word Hashem. And the second thing we'll have guys, most of just you should know, this is halacha l'maisa. When we pass halacha l'maisa again, that it's sus laila. So if somebody has four-cornered pajamas, ultimately again, that beggar is not tied to this. The four-cornered beggar of a suma will be tied. So first of all, we still have to figure out how we possibly what is but aside from that, we still have to figure out how we possibly not focus on Yeshua, or how we possibly know here's what everybody agrees with. If the clothing is dirty or if the clothing is torn, yeah, well, there's also. The point of contention of seems to be with what? Mirushalim Yisivak. If the clothing is too long, if the clothing is too short, ultimately, again, what you do with the clothing under those circumstances. So let's just do a little bit more. You might know what's going on from the night. So let's say you might have a couple of more details regarding the difference. But the pasuk, as we see, it tells us that the clothing is bad. What is that? Shirusha boots. The Kohanic clothing has to be made of linen. Bad shu chadash. Furthermore, again, the Kohanic clothing has to be used. Bad was a result, remember that the pasuk refers to the people that has bad. So we discussed what is it has to be bad. So bad has to be a linen, bad has to be new, bad shoes has to be made of twisted. Bad shoes put on couple shusha. Furthermore, the thread, what says we're going to see has to be six-fold thread. Each piece of thread is folded over 6 times. We'll discuss. Bad shelo yilbash shelo kol imah. Neither of us means that when wearing line of clothing, the coin can't wear any usually reduce thread shall fall. Now we will clothing with it. Amar Rabbi Rabbi Yosef. Bishmama Shlu Shalbutz. So I understand ultimately again that the Kohanic clothing has to be of linen. How Kamash Malon what's in the Afrinabo. So it's like that teaches me that it has to be made of linen and not of any other material. Alabad Shu Kadoshim. Kadoshim in Shekakimo. So when it comes that one of the other drushos that died is that the clothing for 1 second. What do we learn in the Bryson of Megalis? But Tanya, this is fucking shame. And let's say we learned in Amadallah that what? That even if the Kohanic clothing is worn out, that it is still kosher, to which the Muslim Amalei would have Tanech. Bad is used, Utan Kafo Shisha. Bad, Chad Chad B'chudimash. And that's the same question. The Vice before that's I believe in a bad, that every thread has to be 6-ply thread. It was like the word bad itself seems to indicate us what? Chad Chad B'chudei seems to indicate to us that what? That Lamaisa, each string should be an independent thread. Elokikama, this is what it means to me. This is what it means to say. Hakikama, the Godim Shnema Vahadibad, it was like the Gemara 48. Any time, right, when the Torah discusses clothing that has to be bad, what's the definition of that? They have to be made of brand new linen. Shizurin Sheikutan Kapo Shisha. It's woven and then it has to be made of 6-ply thread. So Yeshman La Mitzvah, Yeshman La Akim. We'll say as we will see, some of these details that we'll say are mitzvah, which means that it has to be done this way, and some of them are not. Some of them, if they're not done this way, we'll say what? Invalidate the done. So we'll say again, right now all the Gemara is doing is just laying down the series of rules, not telling us necessarily how we learn them out. The high bad history. We'll say, Gemara says, one second, how do you know that bad? And the Torah says that the people actually do that bad. How do you know that bad means cleaning? So he wants Amar Yosef and Chanina, Gava ha'olam me'akarka bad b'dat. It refers to the Kohanim destinies have to be made. There's something that comes out of the ground, one stalk, each stalk is different. Olam me'akarka bad b'dat. Funny if you can call it the English term also means that. So first to a plant will say, well, what? Each stalk comes up as an individual, and two stalks never come up as one. Apparently, again, one type of plant ultimately again comes up one stalk, never two stalks out of plants. Never two stalks from one is apparently big. Ema Imra, say refers to wool. What's that? How that refers to wool? Because the wool comes out of the sheep. Each little strand of wool comes out from its own core, just like hair. Which the Gemara says, Imra Mifsal, Imra Mifsal. Look at that. Mifsal, Hanima Misfatzelis, and Miskalekis, the time I the one that what's the difference with wool? Is that even though it's one hair that comes out of one core, the hair, the wool ultimately splits. The original one says, This not Nami Mifsal. Ultimately, linen also splits into multiple threads. I.e., the Kusa linen was the natural linen grows as one thread, which is used afterwards it splits apart into multiple threads. Rabina says, we'll say you learn out the obligation from linen from here. The Gemara quotes the passage from the Testament. Ve'ilei pishkin yu arosham, u'mechnesei pishkin yu amasnehem, lo yachshulu be'yazam. So we'll say we learn over here from the Fesco. The Rabbi Fesco says explicitly that the Kohanic clothing has to be the pishkin, which is the definition which defines as linen. So the Gemara says, listen to this. Only the Rashi Rabina. Baha ad the Asli Fesco minova. Alright, very nice. What about before your Fesco came along? Where do we know this? So we'll say Fesco is one of the Nevi'im. That's very nice. But how do I know after? How do I know before your Fesco that the Kohanim have to wear linen? Well, the Tamir, you're using that same logic. Hadam Rakhista Davar Semi Toras Moshe Rabbeinu Lo Lamadnu. I'm sorry. Hadam Rakhista Davar Semi Toras Moshe Rabbeinu Lo Lamadnu. We give it Fesco and Buzu Lamadnu. So let's listen to this. Actually, by Yefeskel, I was saying, how do I know that a Kohen, here actually the passage talks about two things. It talks about a Kohen who is an uncircumcised Kohen. So we'll say, first Kohen talks about two particular types of Arim. Uncircumcised heart and uncircumcised flesh. So we'll say, so the uncircumcised heart is talking about a Jew or a Kohen who has years away from the Derech Hashem. We'll discuss that more tomorrow. But the Kohen who is uncircumcised, we'll say, can't do the Avodah. Before Yefeskel, how did I know that? So we'll say rather these things are halachos for Moshe and Sinai. The Quranic clothing has to be made of linen, and a Kohen who is an Orel can't do the Avodah. These are things that are halachos for Moshe and Sinai. Yefeskel came along and instituted them in the pasuk. So the Gemara Gemara, the Asir Yefeskel, the Asmech Yakra. Hachanam is also the Quranic clothing they have to be made of linen. The Gemara Gemara ultimately it's a tradition, but the Yefeskel went ahead and codified it. So what's that stuff for today? We'll pick up and action with the rest of the issue.
Yeah, this is a cat. No, it's gotta be real, dude. Everyday low prices, that's a shop thing right there. Everyday low prices, then Tiger Thing should be on it. Yeah, I'm surprised. He might be a soy boy. He's right here next to the soy sauce. Yeah. Which way, Western man? Let's see what's next here. Oh, okay, cool. This one's good clip. Posted by What's Up World. It's called Shane Gillis versus Tony Hinchcliffe. Master Roaster Shane Gillis.
All right, we'll say good morning. Good morning. Our student's name is dedicated by Yahweh, so Steinberg, I don't know if he does it by Yahweh. It's not that he does not Hasiosi, yet they like that. I think also let's begin. Maybe like I did not record the rest of the documentary, so let's just pick up and we'll get through as much as we can today, guys. So we're up to Ma'amat Salah Shalosh Shabbat. Last line of the days come with days. So remember again, I was like, in this particular situation, you're quoting the statement of Ben Azai. And Ben Azai wanted to prove that Ola is in the same category as Chatos and Pesach. Just like Chatos and Pesach Shalom Yishma are going to be possible, so to all the source was possible as well. Smart tried to make Mahat Sad between these Kabbalas. Gemara then rejected that Mahat Sad. And you can see Gemara then says so the Ola was included in that Mahat Sad because the Mahat Sad was anything that's touching Shachta Shalom Yishma. It's possible that the Mahat Sad has come down here between Pesach and Chatos. Ola fits that criteria as well. Which much Malat Sana Shalosh Shabbat she used by Sad Kadis. Why don't you say that the combination between Pesach and Chatos is that they have a Sad Kadis? So let's remember again that Kadis is two different ideas. Kadis by Chatos is because you only bring the Chatos if you accidentally do something. There's a Kadis bearing prohibition. Pesach is if you don't offer cover Pesach, the person is high Kadis. But nevertheless, we don't have a Kadis coming out. Ben Azai, Sad Kadis low part. So let's say Chatos is $200. So Ben Azai says ultimately again that Ben Azai does not bring up the Sad Kadis. And Rashi points out because Ben Azai felt Kadis can't be a common denominator because even though there is an aspect of Kadis by Chatos and by Pesach, Kadis is different by both of them, meaning there's a different Kadis application. So because of that, it can't be a Ma'asai. So let's see Gemara says, Asham Nami Lice. If that's the case, Gemara says. So why don't you also include Asham as the Muscle Shimon Shimon? So if the Ma'asai that looks like is anything that's touching, and Shachta Shalosh Tzila, I can include Asham in that as well. Asham Para, say Gemara says, Asham Para, Asham Para, Ma'alat Sad, Hashava Shabbat, Shekin Yeshman, Siva Tibina. Once I see one thing in Asham won't work, and I'll tell you why. Because another common denominator between Pesach and between Ola is that what? Is that we both apply, we both be brought community as well as individual. Yet, again, Asham will only be brought as an individual. By the other possibilities. Sad Kadis Nami Kadis. So the other possibility. No, you can bring in the aspect of Kadis. Ben Azai Gemara coming. Ben Azai also just had a position. Ben Azai had this sort of something that is ultimately that Ola is included. That Ola is included here. That Ola is included here. The same category as Chatos and Pesach. And again, he has different out from the outside. He just simply learns it out from the Minnesota of his bed. I know how to come up with how the come up with come. That's the people who are not right? Well, come up with how to come. When he brought this out, for what purpose? To sharpen his tummy. In other words, that ultimately again, that Kabbalah was not really a reward. He thought that Kabbalah was just sent to spear to sharpen his nose. So at the end of the day, we do not accept, because we do not accept the position of Ben Azai. Ola is not in the same category as Chatos and Pesach. And even though Chatos and Pesach, and even though Chatos and Pesach should be small, the offshore small muscle, that's the amount of Chatos. But simply, a Pesach.
Play responsibly. Now that's on the Food Hill Casino and Resort in
Kansas
City.
is
21 age plus varies.
Here we go.
Eligibility will vary as
Pesach
well
and
by
Chatos,
jurisdiction.
there were Shachtis
In
Shalom
New
Yishma.
Hampshire,
Allah. Or so what's the next sequence? Or Kabbalah. Remember again, Kabbalah is when the Kohen catches the blood. Or Hala, which is Allah, taking the blood to his death. Or Zara, Zika, sprinkling the blood on his death. Shalom Yishma. We'll say any of these things were done Shalom Yishma. Oh, Yishman is Shalom Yishma. Or if you did it with Yishman, and goes to the power that is Yishman. Oh, Shalom Yishma will be Yishman. Or you starting out Shalom Yishma and then Yishman.
Yo, how are you? Oh, you need to get up, Dampy.
Applies to all of the four blood codes. Halakha number 1. If any of those shalom is not, ultimately again the carbon, simply again the Pesach and the candles will be possible. We do some people look at this as I see that if you flip-flop, the shmon and shalom shmon, that also will be validated by these carbons. So you might just take some shmon first, but what if you take some shmon and shalom shmon? The same Pesach, the same time. We'll say that's when you started up the carbon. Let's say you do the street. The same Pesach, the Kabbalah, the same shmon. That's the shmon, the shmon. Shalom shmon or shmon. What's the other thing? The same shmon or same Pesach. Ultimately, there be a difference between the same shmon. If you're Kabbalah or the same Pesach. שהזבח נצטר בארבע דברים. As well as that the covering can become invalidated if there is any type of pursuit in any of the four blood animals. The shita, the people, the youth, and the ones that have, let's say, shalom b'shma. You do something wrong in halacha, and you know, this is from halal from the shita. A carbon must have shita, kabbalah, and shita about extra below evil. And once that halacha is not an indispensable part of the Rabbi process. Why not? Because the shofar you can start them in Jack Missouri, let's say essentially we spoke about the seafood, you know? You can always inject the animal right next to them in there, and therefore what? And thereby avoid the need for halacha. You go right from there, and you're Yezer Omer, and the Harid Shemakom, you start the Harid, Matzela Posai. Listen, you know, the marriage ministry is not going to understand now. But if you do halacha, and it's usually when you have to walk, you have to do halacha, then if you have a machsavah to a little smart, it's not going to be cut. The Makom cares about halacha, but if you do halacha in a place where halacha is not necessary, then what? In machsavah posavah. And it looks like in a erroneous thought, or an erroneous thought, will not be validated. What that means, you will see. Says the Gemara, the Kabbalah Mikasla, it will say, now, remember again, this Kabbalah is a very important principle, which is that if, let's say, these Kabbalahs, these second Kabbalahs, which become possible to offer up Shalom Yishma, if there is a Kabbalah of Shalom Yishma during any one of the four blood Kabbalahs, Yishma, Kabbalah, Zurika, Halacha, 7 down the Kabbalah. Gemara is introduced by the Kabbalah. Tell me now that if the Kohen has Shalom Yishma Kabbalah, but Kabbalah, but that invalidates the covenant. That's the Shvat time. Was the first white line, you're doing $11. Shvat time, you're both second Kabbalah Saddam. In the Bible, says yourself offering, this refers to receiving the blood physically. After Omer Kabbalah Saddam, you see that's Kabbalah Saddam, maybe that's the first Zika. This is Omer Bizarku, how is Zika. When it says Bizarku, what they say here, Bizarku refers to Zika. Amar, Hama, and Lakaya, the people. So what is the people? Two Kabbalah Saddam. Let's say that also make it the first judgment. So once it's clear what you understand, so the Muslim is coming out the concept of the Kivo, or the word for the Kivo. The Kivo, but they are not calling the Saddam. So Kivo means Kabbalah. That means the act of receiving the blood in the two shots. He says to Gemara, the Kivo, so Kabbalah Saddam. But they are not calling. Also, when it says the sons of Aaron are calling, Shekeheba Kohen Kasher who could two shots. So also, what does this mean? It means that Kabbalah must be done with the Kohen Kasher, valid Kohen, and two shots. Also, two shots is very interesting. In this context, Rashi points out that normally two shots means what? Means what? Service utensils. Service utensils. Rashi points out here that that's how it means in this context. If you look at the second to last of the short line, before the lines get wide, the two sharis, Sheyehenu Lubashim, Bigdei Kehuna. Rashi says, three sharis, so it means Bigdei Kehuna. So Kabbalah must be done by Kohanim Sheyim, who are wearing Bigdei Kehuna. Amar Yakiva, Minayin LaKabbalah Shalom, Allah the Kohen Gadol the two sharis. So Yakiva also says, Yakiva has his own version of this. From where do you know that Kabbalah has to be done with a Kohen Kasher, and while he's wearing his Kohanic vestments? Ne'emar kan b'nei Aaron. It says over here b'nei Aaron was said by Kabbalah. Ne'emar lahalon ilish los b'nei Aaron haKohanim haMeshuchim. And we'll say it says later on that these are the names of the sons of Aaron.
Yo, I don't know if this shit is working. I'm just testing this. Yo, fuck you, Kanye, first and foremost, for making me do this shit, motherfucker.
to Kohanim who are
I throw
Ksherim,
away at the
and to wear the
motherfucker.
Kohanim vestments.
I like
Time,
propose a
it's like
toast.
kosher,
I said toast, motherfucker. Why isn't that available on Instagram? No one knows.
Says the Gemara.
It's the worst. This
So we'll
is the
say,
worst.
so that's
I was watching all
so
my
the Gemara
content
pretty much
yesterday. It's
is
so
gonna
sick.
say, me,
Dog,
same
I've got these
structure.
fucking bots
Just
that
learn
are gonna
that
take me
little bit.
viral.
So what we have over here so
That
far
was
is
gonna
as
happen
follows.
like 4 years ago, but whatever. Dude, this shit sucks. Anyway, I got this guy ching chong and jabbering. Fuck this.
As a sacrifice. In this context, it means Kabbalah. What do we learn about Kabbalah? It's really interesting halachas. What do we just learn about Kabbalah? What do we learn about Kabbalah? Has he done by a Kohen Kosher? And
This shit sucks.
Good. Hold on. I'm going to be careful.
Worst
Ekpach esbonai.
shit
So it's a very
ever.
very strong word. So it's Akapach esbonai means I will bury my sons. In Lo Shamati, Lahavchin Hefesh bin Kabbalah Lizriga, the end of the Farish. We'll say, but be careful, he said essentially, I swear, right? I swear like by my son's lives that I learned the distinction
Shit just
between
crashed.
Kabbalah and Zriga,
Worst
and I can't for the life of me remember.
shit
Why would every time
ever.
I say such a thing like that? I should bury my son, and I can't. He's obviously a bit frustrated with this, right? But I'll say, so he knows that he learned something. He can't remember that which he learned. I'll say, by the way, it's an incredible Muslim, because Halabai, we should be so frustrated when we can't remember something in our learning. Like, sometimes we don't remember something from the Gemara or something. We say, not a big deal. I'll see it in 7.5 years. I'll get back to it again next cycle. I'll say the idea that when a person feels so close to their